lawsuit against the Providence Police Department.
A former Uber driver has sued the city of Providence after he says officers used excessive force and arrested him instead of calling for an ambulance while he was suffering a seizure.
Target 12 investigator Tim White is here now with the details.
Taj Eddington was driving a passenger on an early August morning in 2023 when he suffered a medical event. A federal lawsuit filed Tuesday alleges the police department failed to properly train its officers after Eddington was taken to the ground and arrested. Providence police body-worn camera video shows Taj Eddington behind the wheel of his car, hands clenched. His Uber passenger describing to officers what happened before the crash.
Room. Oh, okay. So he had a seizure.
A 12-count federal lawsuit against the city, its department, the police colonel, and 5 officers alleges instead of calling for medical help, police used unnecessary force to take Eddington into custody. Officers drove to the hospital. There, with his hands still in cuffs, Eddington fell out of the cruiser onto his face. The lawsuit says he broke a bone. 2 criminal charges against Eddington were eventually dropped. At the time, Colonel Oscar Perez says the officers' actions were justified and they disciplined one officer for swearing during the incident. In the days following, the department received pressure from community leaders and news organizations to release the body-worn camera video. The lawsuit states Eddington then received a call from Colonel Perez, who cautioned Eddington that a release of the recordings could be embarrassing for him. A city spokesperson declined to comment, citing the ongoing litigation. The lawsuit seeks $2 million, alleging civil rights violations, negligence, failure to train, unlawful arrest, and assault.
In the Bronx, we've got new video of an altercation between 2 men.
It shows the moments just before one of those men was shot by police.
The man shot was the guy who called the cops. With details from the Mott Haven section, here's Lucy Yang.
A Ring camera captures the intense moment. A police officer opens fire. Immediately, she radios that shots have been fired, and the lobby fills with backup. But let's start at the beginning. Sunday night around 5:40, a 32-year-old resident of this building in the South Bronx calls 911 to report someone stealing his air conditioner. He doesn't speak English. A Spanish translator handles the call. 2 female officers respond to East 148th Street. 44 seconds later, we're told one of them fires twice, striking the man in the torso. Authorities believe she shot the wrong man, the one who initially called 911 for help, except officials add he was also holding this large knife.
Why they don't send a Spanish cop? If they send a Spanish cop, maybe that's not happen.
Investigators insist the victim did not drop the knife as ordered. A heartbeat later, he is shot. Did a language barrier play a role here?
One officer gave the male verbal commands telling him to wait, wait, wait. And also telling him to drop it, while also putting her hand up to motion for him to stop.
Before police arrived, you can see the victim in the courtyard with the knife trying to confront the suspected thief. Moments later, the victim would be rushed to the hospital while the other man escapes. We're told the victim is from Mexico and sold flowers and vegetables here. Thankfully, the hospital is only a block away. He's now listed in stable condition while the investigation continues.
Good morning and welcome to the Bad Apple Report. It's 7:30 a.m. bright and early right here at home on the range. Thank you so much for being here today, folks. I really appreciate it. We've got a pretty big show, so I won't ramble on. Thanks for letting me take the day off yesterday. I'm kind of having a little bit of a work week, so that means things might be a little spotty and sketchy this week. But hey, we got a great show today, and I really appreciate you being here. So let's just move on.
An Otero County Sheriff's deputy is now facing a first-degree murder charge after fatally shooting a Mescalero Apache teenager last summer.
Body camera video shows the deputy shooting 17-year-old Elijah Hadley less than 30 seconds after seeing him along the side of the road. News 13's Madison Connor shows you what happened. A warning, the video is tough to watch.
This is the moment Otero County Sheriff's Deputy Jacob Diaz-Austin spotted 17-year-old Elijah Hadley walking along U.S. Highway 70 east of Tularosa on June 25th of last year.
Stop right there, bro. Stop. Stop. Stop right there.
Video shows Hadley stop and lift his hand to cover his eyes as the deputy asks if he's all right.
What are you doing? Let me see your other hand, bro.
Let me see your other hand, dog.
Hadley tosses a gun to the side as the deputy fires 4 times, hitting Hadley.
42 bases, shots fired, shots fired.
Now it was later determined to be a BB gun. Hadley goes on to scream he's dying as Deputy Diaz-Austin runs around to the passenger side to grab the first aid kit.
I'm not hit, subject down.
You can hear Diaz-Austin yell to Hadley not to move or reach for the gun or he will get shot again. Hadley continues to yell it's a BB gun and rolls onto his stomach. The deputy then opens fire again. And seconds later, firing 4 more shots.
I can't render aid. I'm 10-4. I can't render aid. He's still moving and the gun's underneath him.
Okay. Diaz-Austin then asks dispatch if he should render aid. He's told to stand by.
Do you know where he was shot?
In the face, in the chest, his arm, and I believe in the back of the head, like the top of his head area.
Today, the Bernalillo County District Attorney's Office charged the deputy with first-degree murder.
I got no pulse anywhere.
Madison Connor, KRQE, News 13.
In Otero.
The family told News 13 tonight in a statement they hope the DA's decision to charge the deputy is a step towards justice and, quote, the deputy shot Elijah 20 times. At least 15 of those shots came as he laid on the ground bleeding, unarmed and screaming in pain.
Folks, we have an update on this super bad apple who's starting to look like he is right at home in jail. He's alive and well today in jail. Former deputy charged with killing Sonia Massey to remain in jail. Eating, breathing, sleeping, having a good time. Maybe not a good time. Former Sangamon County deputy charged with killing a Springfield woman inside her home will remain in jail for the time being. Sean Grayson appeared in a Sangamon County court by video call for a short hearing on Monday. Grayson's on trial for the murder of Sonia Massey during the 911 call, in July of 2024. He's remained in custody since his arrest in July, despite motions filed by his legal team. In December, Wand News reported that the Illinois Supreme Court declined to grant an emergency motion that would have released Grayson. The state's highest court was considering hearing an appeal to Grayson's pretrial detention, but his case is not currently on that docket on the January term. No docket. Despite the short hearing, dozens of family members and supporters of Sonia Massey were present in the courtroom. Teresa Haley of Haley & Associates shared how difficult the process has been for Massey's family. That's good. I mean, it's not good that it's been difficult. It's good that she showed that. He's sitting there. He's warm. He's breathing. He's alive, said Haley, referring to Grayson. She's dead. Okay. Haley's one of the community advocates who asked legislators to modify the SAFE-T Act. As the law currently stands, murder is not an automatically detainable offense. Okay. The SAFE-T Act was enabled to keep low-level criminals who could not afford a bond that was set and to allow them to get out on bond, said James Wilburn, the father of Sonia Massey. That wasn't for this guy, who has been charged with 3 counts of first-degree murder and 2 more felonies. Grayson's due back in court in March, and we'll be there to see what's going on. See if he's lost a bunch more weight, and he's got a big old long beard by then, okay? Thanks for being here today, folks. On with the show.
Arrested Friday, investigators asked that the paperwork be sealed because they believe 47-year-old Jason Crazley and 45-year-old Evan Weaver posed a potential threat to the victim. The paperwork has been unsealed, and the details are shocking. According to the affidavit of probable cause, in 2011, when Officer Evan Weaver was a member of the Allentown Police Vice Squad, he forced a woman to provide sexual favors in order to avoid getting arrested. The paperwork says following a raid on Allentown's 6th Street, Weaver placed the female victim in handcuffs and put her in a red Ford Explorer. The victim told investigators she thought she was being arrested because her Miranda rights were read to her, and that Weaver told her her whole life was being thrown away unless she cooperated. The victim says Weaver told her she could do things to not go to prison. The victim says she was driven to a second location where Weaver forced her to perform a sex act. The affidavit says the woman was not arrested. She says Weaver stayed in contact and continued to obtain sexual favors in exchange for not prosecuting criminal offenses. Then, the affidavit says in 2015, Weaver and Vice Detective Jason Crazley responded to an online ad ad for prostitution at an Allentown home. The victim claiming she saw Crazley first and that he identified himself as a police officer before he forced her on her stomach on the bed. The victim says Crazley was sexually assaulting her when Weaver walked in and told Crazley to stop. The victim says when Crazley left the room, Weaver forced her to perform a sex act.
These offenses do not change because the young lady was a prostitute. It actually makes it worse because these officers were people who were took an oath, wore a badge to defend everyone, not just some.
The Allentown Police Department says Weaver is on administrative leave and an internal investigation is being updated. Did you steal drug money? Or have sex with prostitutes? Crazley, who retired in 2021, is also facing charges he stole $5,500 from a 2019 drug raid. Both Crazley and Weaver are free on bond. Crazley has a preliminary hearing on the theft charge later this month. Jackie Ferris, 69 News.
You wanted the worst? Well, you got the worst right here on the Bad Apple Report. That's true. Nah, just kidding. This guy's not terrible bad. Maybe he is. Former Bethany Beach police officer charged with felony overtime fraud. I love these type of bad apples because they don't make me feel bad, yet they're still getting in trouble. That makes me feel good. A Bethany Beach police captain, previously fired by the Department for Overtime Fraud, now faces felony charges filed by federal prosecutors. Big trouble. Former Department Captain Darren Cathell was charged earlier this month with wire fraud, as prosecutors say he charged the Department for overtime hours he didn't actually work. Oh, Cathell. Okay, in an email, Eugene Maurer. Eugene, you have a goofy name, and your last name is stupid, too. Okay, Cathell's attorney, just kidding, allegedly, said his client intends to plead guilty and is very sorry for what he did. He accepts full responsibility. Cathell was fired alongside Department Chief Michael Redmond. Whoa, the Department Chief? A year ago, after an internal investigation uncovered the town officials described as potential misuse of overtime funds. Redmond's not yet been charged with a crime related to such. Ooh, I bet his butt's puckered up a little bit, allegedly again. Since their firing, there's been little information about what exactly they were accused of as a result of the investigation. Ooh. Prosecutors claim he submitted claims for 185 overtime shifts that he didn't work between December 2019 and 2024. Okay, goofball. The reported crime encompasses 800 hours of totaling $68,000 in what prosecutors regard as ill-gotten gains. Ill-gotten indeed. Court documents indicate the prosecutors essentially say Cathell submitted timesheets representing he had worked those hours when he actually didn't. The money was partially paid through federal grant funds used by police departments across the state. Ooh, that's going to really get you in trouble, buddy. All right, administered by the state officials. Cathell was specifically charged with felony wire fraud. Whoa. The crime carries the potential of 20 years in prison. First-time offenders like Cathell rarely see the harshest punishment. Okay. Well, Cathell, you're a bad apple, and your bad apple accomplice, that police chief, he's sweating it. We're going to put him on the Bad Apple Report, too, I guarantee you. Thanks for being here today, folks.
Attorney pleaded not guilty to several charges, including operating under the influence, carrying a firearm while intoxicated, and negligent operation of a motor vehicle. He was arrested Friday night in Northborough. According to court paperwork, his department-issued firearm was in the glove box of his vehicle at the time of his arrest. He is listed as a police officer on the Westboro Town website. Kearney was released on personal recognizance and cannot possess any firearms. He is due back in court on March 13th.
The estranged wife of corrupt ex-sheriff Jamie Knoll broke down in tears as her daughter Casey left the courtroom in handcuffs on Monday. A mother's emotional reaction after Casey Knoll admitted guilt to 5 counts of theft and 4 counts of tax evasion, all level 6 felonies.
Ms. Knoll was aware that she was using the credit card, incurring charges with the money belonging to Utica, not reporting that as a profit on her tax returns.
Her personal expenses were part of the millions her father stole from New Chapel Fire and EMS to fund their family's lavish lifestyle. This was the 28-year-old's response when asked by the judge how she developed a sense of entitlement.
I followed the wrong examples, and I'm sorry.
I believe you're a victim of your father and perhaps a victim of your mother. The lifestyle that they chose to live.
Judge Larry Medlock accepted her plea agreement.
I would present the signed plea and waiver to the court.
sentencing Casey Knoll to 9 months in the Harrison County Jail, plus 4 years and 3 months on probation. She was also ordered to pay more than $108,000 in restitution to New Chapel and just over $5,000 to the Indiana Department of Revenue.
We feel that this was a good resolution to the case, and she's accountable for what she did.
Misty Knoll's case is not resolved. The prosecution and defense are working with the judge to delay her trial, which was set to begin next month.
She does not want to go through a trial that will be a burden upon her family.
At Misty's next court hearing, she too could take a plea deal in this ongoing corruption saga. Reporting at the Clark County Courthouse, Madeline Carter, WLKY News.
This comes after Chief Kristen Crowley spoke candidly with Fox 11 Los Angeles Friday about budget cuts that she says have impacted firefighters' abilities to battle the deadly wildfires still burning in the area. Also mentioning 20% of the hydrants tapped to fight the Palisades fire went dry.
Did the city of Los Angeles fail you and your department and our city?
It's my job to stand up as a chief and exactly say justifiably what the fire department needs to operate to meet the demands of the community.
Did they fail you?
That is our job, and I tell you, that's why I'm here. So let's get us what we need so our firefighters can do their jobs.
Did they fail you?
Yes.
Just hours after the interview, the Daily Mail reported a source told them LA Mayor Karen Bass fired Crowley over the comments. But the mayor's office and the LA Fire Department both released statements saying that wasn't true and that she still has her position with the department. On Saturday, the mayor and chief appeared together at a news conference, putting forth a united front.
We are both focused on our urgent needs to mitigate these devastating wildfires. Our top priority remains saving lives and protecting property.
The mayor agreed, saying their number one mission is to get past the emergency situation. As of Monday morning, the wildfires have killed 24 people and destroyed more than 12,000 structures, with Santa Ana winds said to make the battle even more challenging for firefighters, as budget cuts also continue to draw criticism. CBS News reports Chief Crowley brought up issues a month before the wildfires broke out, writing to the Board of Fire Commissioners in a memo on December 4th that budget cuts have adversely affected the department's ability to maintain core operations, pointing to a $7 million reduction in overtime hours, which limited the department's capacity for responding to large-scale emergencies. According to city documents, funding for the city's fire department decreased by $17.6 million between the 2024-2025 and the 2023-2024 fiscal years. Mayor Bass maintains that the budget cuts are not impacting the department's ability to handle the ongoing wildfires, while the top executive at the LA Department of Water and Power says the hydrants were empty because the system had been pushed to the extreme with 4 times the normal demand, which lowered water pressure. All of LA's 28 fire departments are fighting the fires, along with crews from 5 other states. California's National Guard has also been called up to help.
That's going to do it for the show today, folks. Thank you so much for being here. I really do appreciate it. I'm having a music week. I'm having a work week. In Nashville, it's like snack or famine. So that means it's snack week. Actually, I'm happy to have work, but I hate missing the Bad Apple Report because then I get stacked up with too many stories again. But we got to do what we got to do. Thank you so much for being here today, folks. I'm going to whip up another batch of Bad Apples for you tomorrow, and we'll see you right back here at 7:30 a.m. bright and early. Have a great day.